KKAR Sports proudly presents the NAIA Division II Championship football game between Westminster College of Pennsylvania and the Peru State Bobcats. Now, here with today's pregame show is the voice of the Peru State Bobcats, Randy Gottula.
This afternoon, the Peru State Bobcats taking on the Titans of Westminster, Pennsylvania, in, as we said, what has turned out to be the championship game, playing for the national championship in Division II of the NAIA. The Bobcats come into this afternoon's contest a record of 11 wins and 1 tie. The Westminster Titans are 11-1-0, so a couple of fine football teams. Right now, it's with sort of mixed emotions that I introduce a gentleman sitting beside me who's been here for the last 7 or 8 years in the broadcast booth, today working his final game with us on the Bobcat Network, my good friend, Jerry Joy. Jerry, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Randy, and we do have a good afternoon for football. Randy, it's kind of tough to do today. This is our last ball game that you and I'll do for a long, long time. I'm never going to say never again, but by golly, hard decision to make to leave Peru State and turn around and end up here with our last broadcast, and I'm just looking forward to the ball game, and let's have a good time.
And now, as part of today's coverage of Bobcat football here on the Bobcat Network, it's time for our pregame visit with Peru State head football coach Tom Shea. Well, Tom, as we speak here in the press area at UNO's Caniglia Field, and we look at the sideline out here on the track on the west side, sets the national championship trophy. Your thoughts on today's football game?
Well, it's a great opportunity for Peru State College. The young men will be playing in the ball game, and we've got a group of 48 people here today, but that's all we could bring. I think we've got 30, 35 at home that'll be up here cheering us on. That made this dream come possible to get to this point, and I'm proud of each and every one of them, just as I know the people, the Peru fans are.
Coach, let's turn the clock back a week just for a moment and talk about the football game a week ago today here, going against Baker. First of all, it was a beautiful afternoon for your offense.
Oh, that's right. We came out, and Scott Gertis had a great day. They played. They came out, and Max defended our passing game with max protection back there. So we ran the ball, and I think Scott on the day had about 252 yards, which was a great day for Scott. And then our defense had another stellar performance. They third quarter they had three stands down there and did an outstanding job, and you just can't say enough about our defensive performance. It was just outstanding, and like we said in the beginning of the year, we knew we had a good offense coming into this year. We had a great offense last year. The key to getting to this game was to put together a great defense. Defense will get you the championship game, and they've done that for us.
Tom, this being the national championship game this afternoon, your football team has been subjected to much more media coverage than they're accustomed to. What with the radio, television, the newspapers around, how's the team handled that, and how have they reacted to all the media coverage?
Well, Randy, I think they've really enjoyed it. It's really not as much as what a person thinks, but they come out here and watch us practice, and they interview a few people, and being in college football, the number one thing with college football is a learning experience, and I think the publicity that the young men have gotten and the coverage they've gotten is all part of the big learning experience, and I think it'll really be great for them. I might mention yesterday we had a tremendous experience for the young men. We went to the Good Samaritan home with the team before we came up here to Omaha, and they had a little pep rally in there for us, and I tell you what, it was one of the most moving experiences we had. We want to thank those people there at the Good Samaritan home in Auburn for inviting the team there. I speak for myself and the team. It was just a tremendous experience for our ball club.
Well, Tom, when you and I sat down in the stands like this back on the 1st of September in Helena, Montana, 15 weeks ago, your season opener against Carroll, I think we both dreamed about a day like this, but it's reality today. And, Coach, I'd just like to conclude by congratulating you and the Bobcats on a fine season this year. It's been a real pleasure for us to follow your football team throughout the year. We hope you can come away with the win and go out as national champions. Coach, good luck to you this afternoon.
Thank you, Randy.
Tom Shea, the head football coach at Peru State College. Back once again here at Caniglia Field at UNO in Omaha. Randy Gottula along with Jerry Joy. Let's take a look now at the starting lineups for the Peru State Bobcats. The Bobcats starting offensively at the center, Chuck Traum, a junior from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, 6'2", 245 pounds. The left guard will be Dave Hotzen. Hotzen, a junior at 230 pounds from Hershey, Nebraska. At the right guard, it'll be Gil Myers. He's a senior, 245 pounds from Austin, Texas. The right tackle, Dennis Dushaw. Dushaw, just a freshman, but a big one, 265 pounds out of Lincoln, Nebraska. At the left tackle, it'll be Jimmy Wenzel. Jim Wenzel, a 250-pound senior from Tecumseh, Nebraska. The wide receivers this afternoon for the Bobcats will be Corey Catterson from Lincoln Southeast High School. Catterson, a junior, 175 pounds, Lincoln, Nebraska. Corey, incidentally, this year set and now holds the single-season passing yardage record for the Bobcats. The other wide receiver, Garrett Blair, a senior, 180 pounds from St. Petersburg, Florida. And in this excellent backfield for the Bobcats, the great one, Nate Bradley, leading the nation in passing throughout most of the season. Bradley, a 200-pound junior from Newark, New Jersey, 6'2", averaging 313 yards per game through the air throughout the year. At the fullback, Mr. Utility for the Bobcats, that's Scott Gertis, a senior, 190 pounds, out of Auburn, Nebraska. The halfback, Troy DeBost, the fastest high school sprinter in the state of Louisiana last year. DeBost, a freshman, just 145 pounds from Lake Charles. The slot back, Dennis Browning, a sophomore, 150, out of Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Those are the Bobcat offensive starters. Jerry, let's take a look at the defense. Now we're having the two head coaches meeting in midfield for the traditional handshake at the 50-yard line. Tom Shea from Dakota State graduated. This is his 5th year at Peru State. His coaching record 33-18-1 at Peru. His collegiate record 46-34-2.
Andy, the one thing that I want to mention, and I want to get this through, I've been very fortunate. When I first came to Peru, if I remember right, we hired a group to come in and start doing our ball games, and you did color, I think, basically that first year, and from there on you took over the announcing. To be very frank with you, and the people out there listening to us, I think Randy Gottula is one of the finest announcers in not just Nebraska, in the whole country, and I think he really does excellent play-by-play. I've been lucky to work with you, so we'll finish her up today and not get too sentimental from this point on.
All right, thank you, Jerry. That's very kind. I'm excited. We're set to go into a national championship football game here. Again, if you're just tuning in, the Peru State Bobcats 11-0-1 on the season. Westminster, Pennsylvania 11-1-0. The Westminster Titans are the two-time defending national champions. And Jerry, in the previous two national championships, the last 2 years, they defeated Baker University in the semifinal game on both occasions. This year, Peru State eliminated Baker and prevented that same matchup from occurring today.
Yeah, sure did, and that was an excellent ball game. Peru State played extremely well last week, and I thought probably overall had one of our better defensive ball games last week.
We're getting set for the flip of the coin that's being held at the 50-yard line. Out there representing the Bobcats are Gil Myers, Bob Hansen, Scott Gertis, and of course the fine defensive player Cornelius Riley. What a neat way for some of these seniors to finish up their collegiate career of football. I speak of Scott Gertis. There's a young man that I've watched play since junior high football, Jerry. Of course, he graduated from the Auburn High School, the Auburn school system. I've known Scott longer than that, and what a neat opportunity for a young man like that to come out of Auburn, go to Peru State, and find himself this afternoon playing in a national championship contest.
Well, Scott Gertis is a game player. He's been a game player for us no matter what happens today as far as I'm concerned. He's been a game player ever since he's put on a uniform at Peru State. He's had a great career, and he's just really came through and done what Peru State's asked. Cornelius Riley is the same way. Bob Hansen also. Gil Myers, excellent leadership out of those 4 young men.
You can hear the very partisan Peru State Bobcat crowd getting into this one already. A lot of folks have turned out for the football game. Those of you that could not make it to Caniglia Field this afternoon, again, welcome to the Bobcat Football Network. We're very pleased to have you along with us. My name is Randy Gottula, Jerry Joy alongside. The Bobcats have broken their huddle and taken the field. Back deep to return the opening kickoff to start this national championship contest will be Troy DeBost standing on the right side. Dennis Browning will stand on the left. Teeing the football up out at the 35-yard line to kick it away for Westminster will be Rob Danu. Danu will tee it up. So the Bobcats will get the football first, Jerry, and we'll see what Nate Bradley and company can do here. They'll be working into the wind. As we said, it's blowing from 5 to 7 miles per hour from the north. And it seems fitting that as we get set to kick it away, the sun now trying to break through to the point where we can almost detect a shadow on the field around these football players. Jerry, I don't know whether you got the goosebumps, but I have. Here we go. Spot the football on the hash mark. In from the east side, Bobcats go south to north, our right to left. Nate Bradley puts 3 wide receivers out wide to the left side. That's Catterson, DeBost, and Blair. calling his starting count. Nate Bradley has Scott Gertis in the backfield. Hands off to Gertis, the fullback. Gertis breaks forward across the 20, out to the 21-yard line. A gain of 4 yards on the play. It'll bring up second down and 6 for the Bobcats. Catterson comes wide to the left along with Browning. Gertis the single setback in the backfield. DeBost comes in motion from right to left out of the spread formation. Bradley back to pass, dumps it out here, complete. Browning across the 30, out to the 35 and dropped at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats.
Looked awful good on that play. We really came down and really put a lot of pressure on the defensive secondary.
To kick the football, a 23-yard field goal attempt coming up. 9:51 to play here in the first period. Waiting for the snap from center. The ball is down. The kick is blocked. It's blocked away. Peru State blocks the ball. It's rolling out near the 18-yard line. Everybody after it. Jerry Joy, who got through and blocked the field goal?
Brett Jordan came through and got the block. He came in the defensive right end spot, came across and got the good block. Did a good job on that last play.
Jerry Clark, I believe, Adrian Whitty, comes up on top of the football. Whitty comes up on the ball.
They got to have those types of plays in the ball game, you know. Bad snap. What happened? The snap was very high, a wobbly snap to the holder, and the holder got it down, and then Brett Jordan was there to get the block.
Chuck Humphrey, the sophomore from Wymore, Nebraska, comes on to punt the ball away. Humphrey, a transfer from the University of Nebraska. He'll be punting the ball into a 7-mile-an-hour north wind. Humphrey will stand at his own 5-yard line to wait for the snap from center. Gets a good snap. Humphrey gets the punt out of there. A low driving spiral into the wind. Over the return man. Bounces at the 40. Inside the 35. Rolling inside the 30. Down to the 27-yard line. And Chuck Humphrey has just kicked the cover right off the football. Again, they give the ball to Tokar. Tokar dropped for a loss back at the 43-yard line. He did not even get back to the line of scrimmage. Super defense again, Jerry.
Really did a good job. The right guard pulled out and blocked Mark Fritsch, and Mark held him up. You know, he knocked Mark down, but Mark clogged the hole up, and then right away we had Bob Hansen come in there from this scraped linebacker spot and get the tackle.
Jerry, I like what I've seen so far from the Peru State defense. They were able to keep Westminster out of the end zone down here when they got the intercept. Now Westminster had to resort to the trick play to get the first down last time. Let's see what happens here. Crucial third down right here early in the ball game. 3rd down and 7 at the 44-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the left side for Westminster. Dave Baker, the quarterback, takes a snap, fakes the handoff, rolls to his left, wants to pass it. Bob Hansen coming on the pursuit. He'll be wrapped up and sacked for a loss on the play back near the 41-yard line, and Westminster will have to punt the football away.
Matt Hugg was in on that sack, and we also had Kurt Hasley was in on it, Tim Herman, so there were 3 of them actually in on the play. So, boy, Matt Hugg's played a lot of football so far in this series, so right now Westminster is going to be in a punting situation.
3 H's, Hasley, Herman, and Hugg. Sounds like a law firm under there, but they played well again in the center on the defense. It's going to bring up 4th down and 9. You can hear the Peru State crowd into this on 3rd and 3. David Baker calling his cadence, waiting for the snap. 4-man front for Peru State. Gives to Tokar up the middle. Tokar fighting near the first down. I believe they stopped him short. Looks to be just across the 40-yard line. He'll be a good yard to a yard and a half short. It would appear that Westminster will have to punt the football away.
Tell you, from underneath, it looked like Tim Bowen was in on that tackle and got a good share of it. Also, Kurt Hasley. So they did an awful good job on Tokar on that last play. So
Scott Gertis comes on to return it for the Peru State Bobcats. Gertis will stand at his own 24-yard line. David Baker is the quarterback. Baker calling his starting count. Turns. Gives the ball off to Tokar. Fumble on the football once again. Everybody after the ball. Let's see who's got it. The Bobcats on the football at the 17-yard line. Peru State has the football. Jerry, who's on the bottom of the pile?
Dave Foster got the fumble recovery. Boy, there was a hard hit inside by Kurt Hasley. Hasley forced the fumble. He forced the hit.
Nate Bradley from the spread formation hands the ball to Scott Gertis. He breaks into the open inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Scott Gertis, 10 yards right up the middle, close to the first down yardage, Jerry. Bobcats in the spread formation. The junior quarterback, Nate Bradley, sets Scott Gertis, the single setback, the fullback behind him on 2nd and 1. Bradley looks at a 5-man defensive front from Westminster. Calling his starting count. Bradley back to pass. Hangs it down on the left side. DeBost at the 5-yard line. Breaks the tackle. He'll go in there. Touchdown! Troy DeBost, a 9-yard reception. In to kick the conversion. Ron Schoenfeld. Ted Riley to hold. Waiting for the snap. The ball is down. The kick is up. And the kick is good. The Bobcats on top, 7-0. 13 minutes to play in the first period. We'll take a 30-second timeout. We're having fun now on the Bobcat Football Network. And this is the national championship game in the NAIA Division II being played here in Omaha, Nebraska at UNO's Caniglia Field. The Bobcat defense has the crowd behind them trying to fire them up here. They set in the I formation. Baker with 2 wide receivers to the right side. He turns. He wants to throw the ball. Baker rolling to his right. Terry Clark sacks him for a loss. Terry Clark from Auburn, Nebraska, the junior, got in and threw him for a loss back to the 39-yard line.
Great play. Tell you that right now. Terry Clark's a good football player. Boy, he came up with a big play right there.
The crowd, Jerry. There isn't room for high fives in this broadcast booth, but we'd have sure had them on that
you
play
bet
if
we
it
would
have been. Nate Bradley puts Corey Catterson and Dennis Browning wide to the right. Blair and DeBose to the left. DeBose in motion out to the right side. Gertis in the backfield. Bradley rolls to his right, sets, has time, throws the ball out to Catterson. Complete. Catterson breaks a tackle, the 40, breaks another one out to the 49-yard, the 44-yard line. 1st and 10, Peru State. Corey Catterson came very close to getting away from the defense there, Jerry.
He sure did. He caught a nice pass and really moved the ball upfield. So Corey about broke the whole show, and also during the first half, I saw several times Corey outran people getting down the field.
Throwing deep downfield, has a receiver at the 20. Ball is loose. The ball is fumbled. It's loose. Let's see who can get it. The Bobcats, I believe. Peru State with the football. They give the ball to the Bobcats. Cornelius Riley with the play of the afternoon. If it stands, Jerry, they're talking about it. What are they going to say? Jerry, they're discussing this thing at length down here at the 1-yard line. They say that Cornelius Riley got a hold of the football, got it into possession, and then carried it out of bounds at the 1/2-yard line. Blair and DeBose to the left. Browning and Catterson to the right. Bradley looks to his left. Now dumps it over the middle. Garrett Blair complete at the 19-yard line. Garrett Blair with a tremendous reception puts the football to the 19. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats.
Good catch, good throw. It's thrown right on the seam, right where you needed it. Garrett Blair went down and split the safety in the corner. As he split the safety in corner wide, Nate Bradley laid it right into him. It just did a super good job.
1st and 10 for the Bobcats. The 19-yard line of Westminster. Put 3 wide receivers to the right. Catterson to DeBose in motion. Comes DeBose to the left side. Browning to the right. Handoff Gertis up the middle. The 15. Gertis to the 11-yard line. A gain on the play of about 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and short.
Boy, we just keep putting more and more pressure. Peru State's really starting to come on and really looks good on that drive right there, Randy.
16 years you and I have set together Peru football. Have you ever seen a crowd get into it like this one is right now? Listen. Go Big Blue. They just changed the Nebraska chant a little bit. 3,000 strong on the west sideline at UNO getting behind the Bobcats. Catterson and DeBose to the left. Back to pass Bradley. Bradley setting up. Down the sideline. DeBose complete at the 50, the 45, and out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Westminster. Troy DeBose, the freshman from Lake Charles, Louisiana, has just put the Bobcats into Westminster territory. The adrenaline's even flowing in the broadcast booth. You can imagine what it's like on the field. 1st and 10 Bobcats at the 45 of Westminster. Triplets stacked out to the left side of the field. Bradley is back to pass. Shovel pass forward. Gertis, the 40, the 35. Gertis, the 30, inside the 30. The 29-yard line on the shovel pass. 1st and 10. Scott Gertis puts it inside the 30 of Westminster. 9:19 to play in the football game. We're tied at 7-all. Well, there's 4 minutes and 34 seconds to play in the football game. It's 4th down. Jerry Joy, of all of our years of broadcasting football, did you ever think we'd go out on one like this?
No, I didn't.
4th down.
National championship.
And inches at the 40-yard line. Gertis a single setback. Bradley on the quarterback sneak. 1st and 10. He got it. Oh, who would have thought that? Bradley kept the football, go forward across the 40, and got the 1st down for the Bobcats. Oh, my goodness. Hold on, listen to this crowd. Westminster used their final timeout. Jerry Joy, we're not going to break away. We've got the spots in this afternoon, I'm sure. There are 28 seconds remaining to be played in the 1990 NAIA Division II football season. And in 28 seconds, when this season ends, Nebraska's Peru State College, the Bobcats, are going to be the national champions. And, Jerry, you got to get a chill when you say that.
Oh, you sure do. And right here, you know, the key thing is the national championships right here in Nebraska.
Well, it's going to be 3rd down and 10 yards to go. The line of scrimmage at the 38-yard line. Again, we invite you to stay with us here on the Bobcat Football Network. We want to try and do our best to bring you the post-game festivities, including the presentation of the national championship trophy. 28 seconds remaining to be played in this football game with the Peru State Bobcats on top, 17-7. Westminster used their final timeout. They will come over the football facing 3rd down and 10 at the 38-yard line. And he's going to be sacked. Tim Herman got him for the loss. Tim Herman, Lincoln Southeast High School, dropped him for a loss. The clock continues to run. The football out to the 43-yard line. 13 seconds, 12 seconds. Jerry Joy, count them down with me, buddy. 9. There's 8. Fourth down. The crowd will do it for you. 5 seconds. Maybe they'll get the play off, maybe not. Yes, they do. They'll run one more play. Time expires. Baker throws it over the middle. A pass incomplete. There's the ball game. The Peru State Bobcats in Peru, Nebraska are the NAIA Division II National Football Champions. This afternoon, the win, 17-7 over Westminster of Pennsylvania. And we're back at UNO's Caniglia Field. The scoreboard in the south end zone says Peru State National Champions. It runs across, and the team still exchanging congratulations out on the football field. This will be the biggest cheer you've ever heard in the history of Peru State football. Here it comes. There's the presentation. Tom Shea with the big national traveling trophy held high in the air for the TV cameras and for the still photographers. Boy, I'll tell you, the flash bulbs are popping down there.
Now we get a banner that has Peru State on it, so we're going to have banner out.
Peru State will have the national championship banner. They unfold that.
That'll go into our gym. That's going into the Wheeler Activity Center. What a beautiful thing to have. There's a banner. Isn't that a beautiful banner?
Offensive player with 34 passes, 15 completions, and 1 touchdown. Nate Bradley from
Peru State, the offensive player of the game.
Randy, really, Nate had to have it because it's just the fact that, you know, wasn't much offense in the game, but he kept control and won.
Here's the defense.
With 15 tackles and 1 sack from Peru State College, Bob Hansen.
Bob Hansen, the defensive player of the game for the Peru State Bobcats. 15 tackles this afternoon in the ball game. Bob Hansen, I believe they say, selected here now as the defensive player. UNO's Caniglia Field in Omaha, Nebraska this afternoon, the site of the Peru State Bobcats national championship win over Westminster of Pennsylvania. The final score this afternoon, 17-7. Well, it's time now for our final comments on this afternoon's broadcast, as well as on this complete football season, as well as on the breakup of what I think's been a tremendous team here working alongside me, Jerry Joy. Jerry, I'm not one that's big on farewells, but I want to tell you thank you so very much for everything you've done for Peru State College and for the Peru State football program specifically. Folks listening in that may not be aware, Jerry Joy, of course, will be leaving Peru State at the end of this semester, taking the job of vice president at Western New Mexico University. Jerry has been with us as a head coach at Peru State, as an athletic director, most recently the last 7 years as dean of students, and throughout the entire time as my good friend, sitting here in the booth working the play-by-play and the broadcast with us. Jerry, it's kind of hard to say goodbye. Thank you doesn't seem appropriate, but it has been great having you along with us, pal.
Well, we've had a lot of fun, Randy, and through the years, you know, it's really got interesting the last several years how much people have really complimented you and I working together, and I just say that because I really feel that I've had the pleasure of working with one of the better play-by-play people that I could ever work with. It makes an old guy that does color that knows a little bit about football, but probably can't speak too well, sound pretty good. So I appreciate that and appreciate working with you, and I've had a lot of fun. Hardest thing to say is goodbye to Peru State. That's been a tough chore for me, and it's been hard for the decision for me to do that. This is a nice way to end it. It's really nice to come out with a national championship, have that happen, because that's been the long-range goal all the way through. And that's the important thing. That's what's happened to us. Tom Shays led us to it, got it done.
All right. Well, Jerry, again, our thanks to you. And, of course, I want to extend the invitation. If ever you're around the Peru State football broadcast, we'll be very disappointed if you don't stop by, stick the head in, and say hello here on the Bobcat Network.
Thank you, Randy. It's hard to say goodbye, but goodbye to you.
Jerry Joy helping us out the last 15 years around the Peru State football program this afternoon, wrapping up the broadcast. That just about wraps it up for this afternoon's live coverage of Peru State Bobcat football here on the Bobcat Football Network. A special thank you to the flagship station, KTNC AM in Falls City, Nebraska, our affiliates, KNCY AM and FM in Nebraska City, and, of course, the good folks here at KKAR 1180 AM in Omaha joining us for the NAIA playoffs. We're very pleased to have had all of you along with us here on the Bobcat Network. in the Peru State's quest for this national championship. So that about wraps it up for Jerry Joy helping out this afternoon. I'm Randy Gottula, leaving you with the final score this afternoon. The Peru State Bobcats leave as the national champions, downing Westminster of Pennsylvania, the final 17-7. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Bobcat Football Network. Bobcat Football Network.